Today I'm bringing you a really practical episode as a result of a lot of people asking me the same question, some form of what should I avoid at the grocery store? To be honest, that could be a really long and complicated answer, but I've narrowed it down to 5, for the purpose of not having an hour-long episode about this. If you cut these 5 things out of your groceries, then you could really see a dramatic, positive improvement in your health. At the end of the episode, I'm going to tell you about a free gift that I've created for you to really make this easy when you actually go to the grocery store. I'm curious what you would have said if you had created this list of 5 things to avoid. So if your list is different than mine or something was new to you here, make sure you reach out to me after you listen and tell me what you think. I always love hearing from you guys. Welcome to the Daily Wellness Podcast, where you can learn about healthy living and be inspired to take the next step in your wellness journey. Five health sabotaging ingredients to avoid in the grocery store and why. First up is high fructose corn syrup, or really, I avoid any kind of corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is a sweetener derived from cornstarch. It's commonly used in processed foods, sodas, and baked goods because it's cheap to make. It's super sweet and it has a long shelf life. However, high fructose corn syrup has been linked to various health issues, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. This highly processed sweetener is rapidly absorbed by the body. It zips right to your liver, leading to spikes in blood sugar levels, increased appetite, and weight gain. It's best to opt for products that use natural sweeteners like real fruit, honey, maple syrup, or dates instead. What can high fructose corn syrup be found in? Well, you can most likely guess that it's in candy, packaged sweets, cereals, and soda, but can also be found in ketchup, some applesauce brands, flavored oatmeals, relish, canned fruit, flavored milk, some peanut butters, flavored yogurt, bread, and canned soup. Sometimes it's hiding where you wouldn't expect it. You really just won't know for sure until you read the ingredient label. You've heard me talk about reading ingredient labels a lot because it was a key part of my own journey in learning how to eat healthy. I started reading ingredient labels. So just a little tip as you think about all these things we're talking about in this episode, reading the ingredient label on the packaging is where you're going to find these things. The second thing I avoid in the grocery store is bad fats. I kind of went back and forth on what to call this section, but this is actually what I call it when I'm in the store with my kids and they ask me if they can have something or not. One of the things they have to look for on the ingredient label is bad fat. They're looking for what kind of oil it was made with. It may actually be easier to tell you a list of good fats rather than a list of bad fats because there's a lot of them. In the grocery store, we are mainly looking for bad oils. Bad oils are from genetically modified crops that are highly processed with chemicals. Our body doesn't actually recognize them as food, and therefore they cause an inflammatory response. That's not good because when our body is inflamed, it can't heal, and we want our body to be in a healing state. Bad oils create an imbalance in our bodies of omega-3 and omega-6 fats. These bad oils also significantly increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, IBS, cancer, and really just about any chronic disease. You'll specifically want to avoid canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, cottonseed oil, peanut oil, corn oil, and margarine. Just for fun, go check your pantry after this episode and see how many ingredients have those oils. Oils and fats that you can cook in that are good for you would be things like good quality olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, grass-fed butter or ghee, beef tallow, or pastured lard. It's going to cost you more to buy processed food made with good oils. My solution has just been to buy much less of that in general and buy things like potato chips cooked in olive oil occasionally. The third one I avoid is monosodium glutamate. You probably know it as MSG. It's a flavor enhancer, commonly used in processed foods such as soups, snacks, and fast food. It's used because it's cheap and it enhances taste. Well, they've got to mask the poor quality ingredients somehow. Some people may experience adverse reactions when they have MSG, like headaches, flushing, swelling, and sweating after eating it. But moreover, long-term consumption of MSG has been associated with hypertension, obesity, gastrointestinal tract troubles, impaired function of the brain, nervous system, reproductive, and endocrine systems. You might be thinking, oh yeah, I know MSG. I know that one's bad. But it's actually a little tricky and found in some things that you might not expect. I mean, of course it's in Doritos and Pringles, but it's also in some cold-cut meats and pepperoni, Campbell's chicken noodle soup, pre-shredded Parmesan cheeses, gravy mixes, protein powders, and condiments like ketchup and mayonnaise. You've just got to be really careful about what brands and quality of product that you buy. And I'm sorry to tell you, but it's also in your favorite Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. MSG makes bad food taste better than it really is, and it keeps you coming back for more. It should definitely be avoided. Number 4 is artificial colors or flavors. This maybe should have been in 2 separate categories, but I decided to squeeze them into one. Artificial food colorings are in many processed foods, like candies, crackers, desserts, cereals, beverages, but even in pickles and some medications. However, these synthetic dyes have been linked to hyperactivity in children, allergies, and even carcinogenic properties, which means they are linked to cancer. This has affected us personally because I know for sure one of my kids reacts poorly to dyes. It's not as noticeable as they've gotten older, but as a toddler, this kiddo had a dramatically different demeanor after eating something with artificial dyes. Several artificial colors are banned in Europe because of research showing the adverse effect. And even though we have access to the same research in the United States, big food companies have managed to keep dyes in our food. If you buy Skittles or M&Ms in the US, they'll have food dyes. If you buy them in Europe, they don't. So manufacturers are already making these foods without dye, but don't offer it to Americans. It's actually ridiculous. Vote with your dollars on this one and opt for foods with natural colorings derived from fruits, vegetables, or spices. Sometimes you'll see a label that says no artificial colors. Okay, I'm also sneaking in artificial flavors in here. To start off with this, I want to explain that natural flavors are also really just artificial flavors that started with something quote-unquote natural, then was manipulated by a flavorist in a lab somewhere by hundreds of chemicals. So the end result is not natural, and they don't have to disclose the chemicals that they used in the creation of that so-called natural flavor. So just on integrity purposes alone, I could say no to both artificial and natural flavor ingredients. That whole process is just really wrong. But if you want to know why practically, these flavors trick your taste buds into thinking, for example, that this blueberry flavored treat is better than an actual blueberry. So it hijacks your taste buds and creates more desire for the unhealthy food. On a recent episode, we talked about this. Haley Scheich from My Superhero Foods and I talked about how kids should really not have natural and artificial flavors because they're just beginning to develop their sense of taste, and this really jacks it all up. Okay, we're coming up on the last one, and then I'm going to tell you about my free gift. The last one is sodium nitrates or nitrites. Nitrates and nitrites are preservatives commonly used in processed meats like bacon, sausages, and deli meats. While it's helpful to prevent bacterial growth and maintain the meat's color, we can all appreciate that, but it can form harmful compounds called nitrosamines when exposed to high heat during cooking or digestion. Nitrosamines are known carcinogens and have been linked to an increased risk of colon and pancreatic cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes. With cancer rates already being at 1 in 3 people developing cancer in their lifetime, if I know for sure that something is linked to cancer, then I'm going to do all I can to avoid that. Some nitrates and nitrites can actually be naturally occurring. So what you're looking for is none synthetically added to the food. So to reduce your exposure to these, buy less processed meat. Look for options that are free of these additives, and they are coming up with more and more. Choose more fresh, unprocessed meats from trusted sources. Synthetic nitrates and nitrites aren't allowed in organic foods, so that's also another option. When you're trying to avoid unhealthy food, navigating the grocery store aisles can be a daunting task. But if you can become aware of these 5 harmful ingredients lurking in processed foods, you'll be taking a crucial step forward in making healthier choices. To make this easier, I've created a free gift for you. It's a free printable that has these 5 items on it with some specific products to look out for. It's linked in the show notes for you. You can just print it out or screenshot it and then take it to the store with you until you're confident without it. By avoiding high fructose corn syrup, bad fats, MSG, artificial food colorings and flavors, and sodium nitrates and nitrites, you'll be prioritizing your well-being and reducing the risk of many health conditions for everyone in your family. That is an awesome feeling. Thanks for listening to today's episode on the Daily Wellness Podcast. We hope that you found it helpful for your own wellness journey. And if so, we'd love for you to leave a review. Then come back and listen for review shoutouts on upcoming episodes. For more information, check out the show notes and connect with us on our website, dailywellnesscommunity.com.